Hello and welcome to this tutorial and play along for Lean On Me by the great Bill Withers. We're going to play this one in the key of A with some inverted chords up the neck. So I'm going to play my A as I would in first position here with my index finger on the first fret of C, middle on the second fret of G. When I go to my D chord, I'm going to take this same A shape and scooch it up to the 6th and 7th fret. Check out the previous video tutorial on inverted chords in the key of A for that extra bit of practice, but that's where I'm going, to my 6th and 7th fret. When I go to the E chord, I'm going to go back down to A. When I go to the E chord, I'm going to take that same shape and move it to the 8th and 9th fret. So in between the dots here on your 7th and 10th fret are where you're going to place it. I'm going to use that E chord. I'm also going to bring in another one because there are some 2-beat E chords that just are going to be too much to go all the way up the neck and all the way back down in 2 beats. There's another chord I really love to use to play an E, which is related to this A shape, but not quite. I'm going to move my index finger to the 2nd fret of C and my ring finger to the 4th fret of G. It's sort of a, I believe the technical term is an E7 sus4, but I'm just going to call it the E at the end of the phrase because there's a part at the end where I just go from A for 2 beats to E for 2 beats and then right back to A. And that's just going to be a little bit easier on my fingers. So we'll have both E's as an option. I'm just going to call them E because they're both E-ish chords, but in the key of A, they sound just really great and a really nice suspension, both of them, right, to take us right back to that really satisfying A chord. All right, let's take a look at the chord pattern here. As I mentioned, we're going to have some 2-beat chords and some 4-beat chords. But the gist of it is what I call a boomerang pattern. We're going to start on the A chord for a bar. Then we're going to jump up to that D chord for a bar, 6th and 7th fret, back down to A for a bar, and then up to that high E for a bar. I am going to jump up to this one on the 8th and 9th fret. All right, those are the first 4 bars. The second 4 bars start the same. A, up to D, back down to A, and then here's where I have 2 beats of E, so I'm going to come up to this E7 suspended chord and back to A. So 2 beats of that chord, 2 beats of A, because we want to round it out and end up back on the home chord. Couple things to remember about this pattern. I called it a boomerang pattern because we're always coming through this home chord, right? Throwing it out to the D chord, always comes back to the A. Throwing it out to the E chord, always comes back to A, right? The other way you could think about it is a musical question and answer pattern. So I start my phrase, A, D, A to E, that's my question. And then I start it over again, A to D, A, E, that different E chord there. There's my musical answer, coming back to the root chord. And music does that a lot, where it has these sort of patterns within a pattern, ending with this question, and then also ending with an answer. So lots of ways you can think about it, organize it in your head. Now when I am moving from those chords, from the A up to the D, in this case I'm going to go back to the E, the A, right, and then up to the E, kind of moving back and forth up the neck so fast. Part of what I'm doing is really relying on the base knuckle of my index finger here. And that's something that I often recommend to my beginning students, right? Keep that nut balanced on the knuckle. Keep your fingers at about that 45-degree angle back to you. And that's going to set you up for a good position of taking your fingers off, or more likely just sort of disengaging them from the strings, but leaving them on the strings themselves and moving up and down the neck because you've got this point. You don't have to grasp onto your instrument here to be able to take your hand off the neck and move it up, right? We're going to leave that contact point here. So that'll be something else to practice as we start to add in then the strum pattern and the lyrics. Just see how that feels going back and forth. And just be sure that that knuckle isn't sneaking over too much so as to mute the A string. That's kind of the toughest part. I tend to keep it kind of right here on the back side of the fretboard and move up and back this way. So just something to keep in mind. Now, strum pattern. I'm going to, whoa, almost fell off my stool there. I'm going to use the slow rock strum today in a slow count, meaning we're going to have 2 cycles of the strum pattern for every chord. It'll be 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and pattern is ba, 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 ba. So find your groove there. We'll bring the chords back in, and then we'll add the words. All right. Here we go on A, 2 and a 3 and 4 up to D, 2, 3, 4 back to A, 2, 3, 4 up to E, 2, 3, 4 back to A, 2, 3, 4 up to D, 2, 3, 4 back to A. Here comes the other E chord, E7 back to A. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Verse 2, please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Verse 3, if there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, oh, I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load. If you just call me, let's scratch it. Call on me, brother, when you need a hand, 'cause we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. One more time, when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. And on A. Lovely job. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope those tips at the beginning helped. You can come on back and play through with me anytime you need. One other thing that came to mind just before I let you go as I was playing through is timing when to jump up the neck. Maybe you ran into that problem as well. And I found myself moving 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and So on that and even as I was doing my little down up, I wasn't worried about keep holding on to that chord till the very last beat. I was mostly focused on just keeping that rhythm going with my strum pattern and using that opportunity to jump up the neck. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2, right? So there's no chord in there. It's just kind of a little muted there. But that's okay, because the most important is that we get to the new chord by the first beat of the new measure. So if that was tripping you up, that did occur to me as I was playing and clearly distracted me on my way up to the E chord. I overshot that a couple times, right? We all need some practice, myself included. Enjoy this tune. As I said, come on back, play with me anytime you like, and enjoy practicing on your own as well, and I'll see you next time around. Thanks so much.